So the first single was Orleans. I got heavy radio play on rock stations in Canada, featured in a Fido commercial. That's how you know you've made it.
Oh,
And
I forgot all about the commercial.
yeah. And so my question, this is for Renee, I suppose. Do you think that this was such a big single because you were prominently featuring everyone's favorite instrument, the cowbell? Is that what made this a big hit? Let's be honest. Is Will Ferrell a big fan of this song in this band? I want to know that. I want to know the truth here.
The funny thing is that the cowbell came in at the end of the recording. I bought that cowbell in Streetsville.
It's true.
I never owned one prior. And now it's on everything.
When we wrote it, it was a horse bell, and then we changed it to a cowbell.
What's a horse bell?
I don't know. It's a stupid joke.
Oh God. But yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's some cowbell on a few of the different songs. I was wondering, man, Johnny, there's like 5 different badass guitar riffs in that one song. I was curious if you were worried that you were using up the entire EP's worth of riffs on one song and you'd end up just, playing chords on the rest of the album.
I don't know. I think like as a guitar player,
can't you share the riffs amongst the rest of the album? No, there's more awesome riffs everywhere.
Thanks, man. I think as a guitar player, it's like when you get into for me, when I get into a certain pocket, it's just like dancing. It's like you're dancing a certain way and the guitar just writes itself and you just go with it, but that's just what that tune that's the way it made me feel. It's like, I just want to play it like this and try to go for it.
Well, you made the right decision, I would say, with it resonating with so many people. The music video has you guys in a hotel room. It has Johnny. It's like you're up late at night. You can't sleep. You're working on a song. How did this song actually come to be? You were saying there's not a lot of lyrics, so I'm assuming the lyrics came second. Was it based around a guitar riff?
Yeah, I think that looking back, I was listening to, I was diving into a lot of the old blues stuff and a lot of really early recordings, like I think of Lomax, early recordings of like he would just go around and bring a camera to certain parts of the US and just film these like blues players in all these different fields and different places and stuff. And it was just like, I was just so amazed at the energy of these players, because these guys are just like, they're playing because they love it. They're not playing to make money. They're not playing because of this and that and stuff. And I think that, looking at the music industry, you get lost in that. Like people forget that this is a pastime. This is what people love to do. And that's it. It doesn't matter if you make money at it. It's because it makes the life better playing an instrument like that. And it's like, it's like an outlet for so much emotion and everything else. And so look, I think that's where the song came from, was just looking at a lot of the early roots of rock and roll.
Probably a lot of Fat Possum.
Yeah, Fat Possum record stuff. R.L. Burnside, and like all that early stuff, juke joint stuff. And like, I think that's why it needed to be simple and not a lot of lyrics, because that stuff is just, it's repetitive, but people are dancing to it. They're moving to it. And like, that's what that's all it needs to be. It doesn't need to be more than that. You don't need to force a ton of stuff into it. It's just, the simplicity of it is beautiful. And we just wanted to, I think that like writing that song, I just wanted to write something that was like that. Like, just keep it simple, straight up, right across the plate. Like, this is how a good song can feel. And I think that it was more, I think that it was more a reflection of us being able to show that we can restrain ourselves from overdoing stuff. That's kind of like the nature of that song. And I think that's the beauty of it.
The song Shotgun, man, the intro, the guitar and drums, it's such a thick, like tasty sound. I'm curious, how do you get that sound? So I guess maybe this is like an instrument kind of question. Like for Johnny, is there a specific guitar and then amp and then pedals that you use? And then Renee, is there specific drum kit that you go with, or sticks? I guess that's what we're getting into for like the tech heads that are listening to this episode.
Well, I mean, I think the biggest element in that song, as far as the drums go, was the kick drum. And then on top of that, I can't remember if it was Rats that did this or it was James, but we layered an actual shotgun on the snare drop out of the bridge. Yeah.
Oh,
It was
wow.
Or was it
Rats.
Cannon?
It was Rats.
It was Rats, yeah.
It was like a like combination of like this like reverb unit and stuff, and just the nasty snare, like the it was like almost something like Metallica Saint Anger snare drum, like just a touch of it. But yeah, I think that one. It was
I remember the kick drum purposely because he took off the front head and then really tuned it down. It was hard to play it because the tighter the head is, the quicker your beater can be on it when you're playing the kick drum. But he loosened it so far down that it was like when I hit it, it just sunk into it. But that's the sound he was going for. He's like, just try and work with me. Like, just play it. You can do it. You can do it. It took me a long time to do it, but we got it done.
mm-hmm.
And it's very evident in the song and how it sounds. So, but to be honest, I think a lot of it is guitar because Johnny does a lot of layering and he works with a lot of really cool pedals. And
that one specifically was a baritone too.
Oh, that's right.
Like I really dove into the baritone. That was the first album I think I started using baritone guitar. So it's the in between guitar and a bass. So it sounds like a bass guitar on a lot of it, and I think that that just made it feel so nasty in the riffing and the just like, because now we're just dropping everything right down and just like bringing this like heaviness to it. And
that's a low tuning.
Yeah, it's very low tuning, and I think that adds the element of it. But that's like a shotgun, right? It's not a pistol. It's not a quick little guitar. It's just this heavy, low, just.
I was going to ask, listening, with a background in audio engineering with good studio headphones, I'm listening to the album and it's like, there's no bass isn't missing, but I'm not sure if there's a bass or not recorded. So can you clarify, is there like a bass player through the EP, or is it that you're covering those frequencies with your baritone guitar?
There's a combination of a lot of things. The baritone, octave pedals, and we did put root notes of bass down
just to fill out the EQ spectrum.
Yeah, and just to have the option for mixing. So it was up to Ratsy. It's like, this is what we want to achieve, sort of thing, and then Ratsy would just kind of be like that's his world. So we wanted to give him the option, being like, if we with all the octaves and the baritone and stuff, if it's still missing, that we could put a little bit of this in there too, because it's like when we were playing the songs and when you're in the room, you feel all that stuff. But if like in recording, it's such a different beast. So it's like we want the listener to have the same experience as us in a room with this, like all the octaves, the baritone and all that stuff and all that big sound. So we put root notes on stuff, but not always there. Like it's like a little bit here and there just to fill it out, to like sort of like give it a little body and stuff in sections that it didn't have. But that's just the recording process, I guess, when you just kind of like have to try to do whatever you can to try to make it as close as possible to the way it sounds in the room when you're jamming on real stuff.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned Metallica's Saint Anger, and it's so funny you mentioned that because listening to that EP, your vocals in certain points, I got a James Hetfield um, vibe when it comes to how the vocals were mixed. So I found that on the EP versus Badlands, your vocals were more raw, kind of more dry, kind of piercing through. They sound great. It's not a detriment. It's just describing the sound. Versus Badlands, the vocals are warmer. There's reverb, there's delays, and I'm just curious, was that a conscious choice to have that style mixing the vocals versus the EP and then the album after?
That was definitely a change in mixer, because what we did, that was Eddie Spear. So we went down to Nashville specifically for that sound, because this was a more, for Badlands, because it was more of that Western vibe and that hill country blues kind of side of things. And he was just at the cutting edge of a lot of the records we were listening to at the time. And he brought about a lot of, like, he wasn't using a lot of the newer processing effects and stuff. He brought all the hard equipment out. So he had like this crazy delay from like Abbey Road Studios. Like, he brought it in a suitcase when he came over from England. And like, he was just using all those cool, like, candy effects that we loved on those records. So,
and from the Devil's Porch, like that, when Ratsy, he mixed so many albums that we loved. Like the stuff that we, when we went to Ratsy, like, we were really into the big wreck stuff that was happening at the time too, and Monster Truck, and like, we just love the way that was just so heavy and so present,
punchy,
and like, so we were like, this is us. Like, this is exactly the guy that we need to use, because he's hitting all of the elements that we love, but it's all the elements that we are naturally creating when we're jamming. Like, it's like this heavy sound, heavy guitars, heavy drums, all that stuff. And so the vocal, it was I think he just had a really good handle on our sound and what we were going for. So he really knew how to bring forward that sort of like piercing, a little bit of aggressive vocal sound. And that's what the album needed to be, because we were doing things, we were writing such heavy riffs and heavy music, and the themes were heavy, and like, it was just like, we needed to cut. So Ratsy mixing, he was making it cut through more, where Badlands is just a little bit of a step back. It's more this kind of like throwback sound, and sort of a throwback journey, whereas From the Devil's Porch is just more present and cutting.
There's definitely an evolution between the two.
Yeah. And it was also our first time pressing vinyl too, and we wanted to complement that too.
Exactly. I mean, when you hear Badlands on a vinyl, that's the way to listen to it, really. That's the way we were kind of, the whole process of making it was just like, this is how it needs to be heard. Because of the way that the vinyl breathes, you can hear the depth of the recording. And it's just kind of, that's the journey we were on at the time, and it is an evolution. And I think that we're fortunate to be able to do that as artists, is take these different chances and go down these rabbit holes and stuff, like, to me, those are the bands that we love the most, that make albums that isn't just the one trick pony every single time. It's just like boring. It's like, show me that you have some depth to you, please. Like, I don't want to know that you like that you eat the same sandwich every day.
So Renee, I want to know, how much fun is it to play the song Pay No Mind live with the cool drum fills after the chorus?
Oh man, we actually have not played that one live in a long time.
And a lot, without you're going to say never, I was going to say, how dare you, but not. Can it be expected? Can it be expected on the upcoming tour? I guess you're opening,
our
so you have a
focus,
shorter set, perhaps. You know?
yeah, and that's hard too, right? Like I remember with I Mother Earth and Our Lady Peace, that tour, we were given what, 20 minutes. I was like, that's 4 songs. That's hard. Like, how do you
Yeah.
pick 4 songs out of a catalog of like 4 albums? But
And you have to play Orleans, you know? So.
yeah, so you have to play
We
the
played
radio
it 4
singles.
times.
We play
we gave the people what they wanted.
Yeah.
We have time for one song and one song only, 4 times.
Here you go.
So it is going to depend on the set. I know we're going to be doing some headlining shows this year, so we have more of an opportunity to bring back some of the other stuff. But I think our pride and joy right now is really showcasing what we just did. So I think it's the evolution of where we're going, and we're really proud of it, and we're really excited to show people it. So I think the focus will be on new material, but that being said, with a longer set, we do have the opportunity to bring back some classics.
Yeah, I agree that we're just so excited about the new stuff, and that's just kind of where we're at. Like we, you know, bringing the older stuff back. Looking at a set list, it's like we have the opportunity to only do so much. So if we have the opportunity to only do so much, if we put this song in, then we have to take that song out. And it's kind of like this relationship like that. And what we really want everybody to hear is all what we just did, because it was such a, we dove in so deeply on this new album that we truly feel this is like the greatest thing we've done to date, and we really want to share every single song with everybody.
That being said, we're not playing the whole record.
Yeah, and if we take one out, then we gotta, or if we put that one in, then we got to take this one out. But we want to share that feeling with everybody, but like
it
Renee
is a balance.
said,
It is a balance, because obviously you want to appeal to your early fans too, right? So we're not going to completely.
We just want to do. We want to do all of it for everybody all the time, but we only have so much time.